Namaste. Today we're going to be discussing Indra for our lesson plan. And Indra was the Lord of the skies, according to the Vedas, and his weapon was the lightning bolt. I'm recording this as it's storming here and raining here. I was supposed to start up the Live on the Green this morning, but it's too soggy to be meeting outdoors today. So hopefully next week. But coming back to Indra, since Indra is the Lord of the skies and his weapon is the lightning bolt, the clouds represent the turbulence that can happen in the mind, especially the dark clouds. Think about the dark clouds represent trouble, stress. It represents chaos, any kind of difficulty we deal with. And the white clouds actually represent something positive and uplifting, peace, hope, and love. So in Hindu spirituality, clouds represent things that can distort or delude the mind. So what we're trying to do is use these purifying practices, the breath, which helps to purify the mind and the body. We're trying to do these physical postures that help to purify the body, and our mindfulness and meditation and focus, which helps also to purify the mind. Think about when you may say or hear someone say their head is really foggy. That fog is the turbulence of the mind. And so that's what we're trying to clear. We're trying to calm the inner storms. Think about how clouds can block the light from the sun and the moon. So in essence, the inner clouds are also blocking our inner light from shining through. So we're going to use these practices today to help to distill the mind and to bring more clarity to the mind. That way we're not so foggy or cloudy headed ourselves, living in a state of delusion or detached from reality or so engrossed in fantasy. So I will meet you on the mat. We will be working on a couple poses that refer back to a lightning bolt with this in mind. And we're going to be playing with the Headstand Prep and creating a shape in the legs that looks like the shape of a lightning bolt. So we have a little bit of core work to begin with, and I will meet you on the mat. So the first position I would like us to set up in is the yin form of corpse. So, you know, the normal style of corpse, you imagine I'm on my back. The arms are in an A-frame position, the feet are hip distance apart. The difference with the yin version is the feet go a little wider to the corners of the mat and the arms are going to lift overhead. It's almost like you're creating an X shape with your body. So go ahead and recline down and create the shape and close your eyes. So by the time you do this recording, it may or may not still be cloudy outdoors. But think of what it represents. Consider times where your head may have felt full, where you couldn't see things as clearly. Very similar to a cloudy sky where it's blocking the sunlight or the moonlight or just being able to see the beautiful blue sky. And then check in with your own self. What is your current state? Are you dealing with any inner storms? And even if you're not, remember, part of the purpose of this practice is to clear and open the mind. To free the mind up, to free up our emotions. And also achieve self-realization. Take some deep breaths in and out through the nose. Maybe breathing in a deep diaphragmatic way. And then on the next inhale, we're going to lift the left leg, the right arm up towards the sky. You may or may not be able to tap the fingertips to the toes. It's okay if you can't. But the exhale reclines us back down. And then inhale, right leg, left arm reaches up, maybe tapping. And exhale, release. So utilize a strong, controlled breath as you create this movement with alternate limbs. Inhale, bringing them up, and the exhale, carrying them back down. So we're going to be activating the solar plexus in the beginning part of this practice, and then intermittently through the practice. Remember, the core of the body, the solar plexus, is an area that's been called the indwelling place of the sun, the place where we build internal heat, the place of our inner reservoir of strength. So even though we're opening up shoulders and hips and hamstrings here, try to operate from your center. Couple more, back and forth. Find a proper pace for you. And last one. And so hopefully you felt some of that core work involved. Now lay back out into this yin version of corpse. Remembering when we extend the limbs, it helps to extend the vertebrae. And if it's extending the vertebrae, it's also helping to create more space in the belly, in the chest. Breathe into those regions now. Place your fingers up underneath the base of the skull. Draw the feet closer together. And then on your exhalation, drive your left knee in towards your chest, picking up the right arm and crossing it over in that direction. And then inhale, recline back down. Exhale, right knee comes in, the left elbow lifts up and crosses over. Inhale, lays you back to the floor. Exhale, you're alternating back to the left knee. And then to the right. So right now we're keeping it more simple. With the legs extended, your heels are resting on the floor. When you lift and cross over, the opposite elbow can stay lowered, and you're working and isolating the side obliques. And we're going to amp this up a little bit. Now hover the extended leg. Inhale through center. Exhale when you pump and lift as the knee draws closer. Keep it going. If you need it in that simpler style with the heels on the floor, then of course you can go back there. But we are going to release into the X-shaped form. Close the eyes and breathe back into your belly. One more deep breath. And then left leg, right arm reaches up. That very first exercise we did. And release back down. And you're alternating limbs back and forth. Maybe the fingertips tap the toes. Maybe they're just shy of that. And that's okay. It really depends on the range of motion in your hips and shoulders, as well as the flexibility of your hamstrings. Remember, we're not kicking or flaring the arms or legs. It's a slow, controlled mechanic. Now, once you descend back to the ground, lace your fingers underneath the base of the skull. We're going to go into that same sequence again. Heels on the floor for this round. Left knee draws in, right arm crosses over the midline in that direction. And then inhale, recline back to the floor. Exhale, twist off to the right knee. Inhale, release. And we're going back and forth. Remember, since the exhalation allows the belly to deflate, that's a perfect time to crunch in to work those particular muscles in the midriff. And now if you want to amp it up, the straight leg can hover and you can point the toes. And you're twisting back and forth, side to side. And then eventually spill back down with all that contraction in your core. It probably started to burn. Just recognize this is where our inner Agni resides. Agni means inner fire. Now we're going to start to move towards lightning bolt pose. So you're going to bring your left knee in towards the left shoulder. Once it's angled that direction, take your left hand to find your foot. Allow the sole of the foot to face the ceiling. Pull it downward. And let's just do the hip work for a moment. Aligning the ankle over the knee. And now we'll pick up the right leg, point the toes. We'll sail the right arm over that leg, picking up the head and neck, and contracting those rectus abdominis muscles at your center will help to keep your head up where it shouldn't feel like a strain. So notice the shape of the lightning bolt here. It represents the weapon of Indra, the Lord of the skies. Now on your next exhalation, spill the right hand to your leg, the right foot to the floor, and just lay the head back down. You're still slightly tugging down on the left foot, so using that upper body strength to really access your hip. Let's take a cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and release. All right, we'll take the right knee up towards the right shoulder. We'll attach that hand to the foot. The foot faces the ceiling. You are pulling it down towards the right side of your mat. Noticing the condition of this side. Every time you breathe out, imagine you're cutting away and washing out any toxins or tension, any stress or tightness, any impurities, and any fatigue or illness away. All right, lightning bolt is next. So we're gonna lift and hover the left leg, pointing the toes. We'll scoop in through the belly, sailing the left arm out, gazing forward past the hand, Hasta Drishti. Use your breath to clear that cloudy mind. And gently lower it back down to the earth. Still holding half happy baby. And then we're going to go into the full happy baby pose. So take a hold of both feet. Anchor down through the low back. Affirming here, I am happy today and elated in life. I am happy today and elated in life. All right, we're going to bring the feet down to the ground. Bring the feet together so you're residing in reclined butterfly. And if you want to create a set of wings with your arms, you may. I'm just going to keep my hands at rest. Close the eyes and notice your body's behavior. Notice if your body's receiving this willfully or if it's resisting. If you're finding a lot of resistance, it's a good time to maybe place a block or some kind of prop or pillow underneath each knee. And it may be that's just one side. And it may be that you're feeling the sensation percolate, but it's not having any negative effect upon your breath or mindset. And if that's the case, you can just remain. Let's go ahead and slowly lift the knees. Catch the knees with your arms or hands. Coming into Apanasana, the wind release pose. Stretching out the low back, relieving the hips, and affirming mentally. I reduce my scattered forces to rise up and away into the sky. You can look at those scattered forces, that scattered mindset or emotions as being like the clouds that we need to clear. Let's gently turn over to one side of the body. go ahead and meet me standing at the top of the mat. We're going to work on sun salutations, and we're going to be building on the poses, starting off with lightning lunge. So bring your hands to namaste at the heart. Circle the arms up alongside your ears and take pause here. So I want to make sure that you're really putting the landing line down through your legs and through the soles of your feet. Once you're anchored down and your arms are flying up, you should feel two opposing lines of energy, a grounding and a rising. Bring the palms together and then gently lower down, keeping your legs structured as you fold, hinging from your hips, Uttanasana. Excuse me. Even though we warmed up the hamstrings earlier, you may feel a little bit more activation here. Take a cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Inhale, let's come halfway up. Exhale, let's drop back down, belly, chest, and face. On your next inhale, let's step the left foot back. When you step the left foot back to that low lunge, we're going to pulsate, inhaling, lifting the hips, and then exhale, sinking them down, just warming up a little bit more before we enter that lightning lunge. Now offset your left foot, power that heel firmly to the floor, reach the arms up in a diagonal line. So you don't want to be hovering too far over, but you don't want to be all the way erect either. It's that midpoint. Keep the arms framing the face, and then lace the hands together to that temple mudra, also called Jupiter or Kali mudra. Press down firmly through the mound of the front big toe. The shoulders can pick up towards the ears. The arms can hug the head. One more breath. Let the exhale take the hands down, spin away from the back heel to step to your plank. Pause in plank for a full breath. We're going to be doing locust poses today for our back bend. So come on down to a prone position. You're going to hide your thumbs away with the Four Noble Truths of the other four fingers. The fists are going to come to reside alongside the pubic bone in that hip crease. You're going to rest on your chin, and you're going to fly both legs and feet in the air. Lengthen out through the leg bones. Keep breathing. This strengthens and tones the lower body, but as well as the low back and core. Now exhale, send the feet back down. We're going to go into a different form of locust, Apanasana. Spread your wings. Inhale, lift up. Affirming, I fly upwards on wings of joy. Breathe diaphragmatically. Maybe extend the arms out now in front. Exhale, bring the brow down, the hands up underneath the shoulders. Pull the elbows in, curl the toes under. See if you can lift straight up, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. From Adho Mukha Svanasana, press into the mound of the hands. Soar up through your seat, drive your thighs back, then breathe. Inhale, left foot steps through. Pulsate here. Lifting up energetically on the in-breath. Sinking down more thoroughly on the out-breath. Offset the right foot, power it down. Inhaling up. Angle the upper body, square the hips as best you can. Then create the mudra. Engaging the arms, lightning lunge. You may have more tenderness in one set of calves. I know this is my more sensitive side. Concentrate on your breath. Set that drishti. Exhale, bring the hands down, spin away from the back heel, springboard the back foot forward, rising up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release. Inhale to the top. Urdhva Hastasana, and then exhale, Samasthiti. Okay, we're going to build on that. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Inhale, this time left leg steps back. Ground the back heel, we're coming up to lightning lunge. Create your mudra, set your eyes. Inhale, draw it up. Hang the head back. This is going to be our variation of Exalted Warrior today. Exhale, bring the hands down, step back to plank. Full breath. Rock it forward, lower down to chaturanga, to that prone position, ready for locust. Fist under the hip crease, either side of the pubic bone, lifting the legs as you breathe in. Continuing to breathe as you hold. You might even notice your pulse point here. Next, exhale, lower the feet. Inhale, spread the arms and fly up. Next in breath, arms reach forward. Exhale, down to third eye, hands under the shoulders. Curl the toes under. Inhale, muster up your strength. Press to plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Open up space between each vertebra. And allow these purifying practices to help to clear any clouds from your mind. Any emotional storms from the heart. Inhaling, left foot forward, back heel sinks down. We're starting off lightning lunge. Inhale, we draw up to Exalted Warrior. If you need to look straight ahead, that's fine. But see if it's possible to balance and gaze up. You can always add or delete from your practice.
Exhale, let's bring the hands down. Springboard the back foot forward. Open up your heart center. Exhale, fold down, keeping the kneecaps lifting upward. Loosen your neck. Inhale, come all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. One more flow. Inhaling up. Exhale, pour down. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale, left foot back. Back heel sinks down. Starting off, lightning lunge. Creating that mudra. Noticing lightning lunge is not quite as fierce as it started off being. Inhale, exalted warrior. Lift the head up. Lean forward to lightning lunge, but then we're going to shift the weight onto the front leg. Elevating the back foot for walking stick, sometimes referred to as warrior 3, but I'm pointing the toes on the lifted foot today. Exhale, release back to lunge. Hands frame the foot. Stepping into plank, hold for a full breath. Inhale, plank. Shift forward, lower down to chaturanga, all the way down. Set up for locust. When you're ready, inhale, only lifting the lower body. Very little weight in your chin. Exhale, spill the feet down. Inhale, separate your arms wide. Then lift up, Salabhasana. Affirming, I soar upwards on wings of joy. Arms reach ahead. Hands underneath the shoulders, feet tap down, forehead down, curl the toes. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left foot through. Back heel down. Lightning lunge. Be established here first and foremost. Inhale, exalted warrior. To regular warrior, to lightning lunge, to shift the weight and balance. Exhale, return to that lunge. Spring the back foot forward, open the heart. Exhale, lower in, Uttanasana. Affirming here. Nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. Not even the passing storms. Clearing our head that detaches us away from reality. Come back to the now moment. Inhaling up. Exhaling, hands to heart. All right, we're going to take the left arm skyward. Right arm's going to dangle alongside the body as we curve to Chandrasana. One more. Inhaling up. Exhale, release. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, curve to the left. The left arm can just dangle freely today. This time, inhale, both arms up. Exhale, hands come down the center as you humbly fold to Uttanasana. We're going to inhale, step back plank. But we're going to spill down to the knees. When you spill down to the knees, we're going to sit back towards the heels. Keep the big toes touching. Separate your thighs wide. Flip your palms open with your left hand out in front. We're going to slip and slide the arms through. The arms kind of thread underneath the collarbones in between the chest and chin so that we can spill down to the brow. This is shoelace arms in yin yoga. And it's meant to be a passive position. So once you enter, try to relax. Be more receptive. Continue to breathe. I want you to consider something that's mentioned in the Yoga Sutras. It's mentioned in the 4th chapter. In the Yoga Sutras, it says the highest state of self-absorption is called Dharma Mega Samadhi. The state of self-absorption in which consciousness acts like a cloud that rains righteousness over the mind to free it from affliction. The state of self-absorption in which consciousness acts like a cloud that rains righteousness over the mind to free it from any affliction. On your next in-breath, let's lift the face up. We're going to slide the hands out in front of us. We're going to give our knees a break for a moment. Shift the hips away from your heels. Come to tabletop position. We're going to do more of a freestyle version of cat-cow. So it kind of looks like this if you want to watch for a moment. It's like we dip down, but then we circle up through one side, wave it over to the other, and then buckle the arms. It's almost like we're in a tunnel and we're trying to brush the body around the whole circumference of the tunnel. There's no right or wrong here. But then we're going to dip down, come up on the other side, and it's always slightly clumsy or awkward for some reason on the second side. Maybe not for you, but for most people. And then we'll sit back towards the heels. We'll enter back to tadpole. We'll flip the hands open. This time the right hand out in front. We'll thread the arms for shoelace. And come down. Resting in stillness. Creating some quietude. On your next inhale, let's gently come on up. We're going to do something kind of fun that we haven't done in a while. I hope you find it fun. So if you're on a harder surface, a harder wood floor, you may want a blanket for this. I do have a thick mat, and it's something that I could probably just double over. And if you're on carpet, that's all I suggest, is just double your mat about a third of the way down. But on a harder flooring, you may prefer to have that extra cushion here. And so what you can do is place the blanket down. I'd smooth it out. So it's like this, and that's going to be your surface. Because we're going to do a headstand prep, and then we're going to create the shape of the lightning bolt with the legs. So I'll demo really quick. Now, if you want to amp up your practice, and maybe you want more of a challenge than this, you could practice crow pose. Let me demonstrate that really quick. So crow pose, I'm actually going to take my hands onto just the sticky mat part, and my head will hover over the padded area. So you create that shelf for the arms, you come up to crow. And then you can bring the head down, right? And the feet up for Shasana prep. Now, this is where we're actually going to be taking the lightning bolt. But for those of you that flow from one to the other, I'll go ahead and show you. We're lifting one leg up, keeping one knee on the arm to create the shape of that lightning bolt. Okay, now, if you just want to do it from Shasana to prep, or that headstand prep position, your hands don't necessarily need to be just solely on the sticky mat. You may want the extra padding here. Now, the reason why I said to do it with a third of your mat, the main mistake that I see with people doing this pose is their hands are shoulder distance apart, but the head is too close to the hands like this. And it's not going to be good alignment, and it's not going to be as balanced. So I want you to think about an equilateral triangle. An equilateral triangle means there's equal measurement between each point. So if our hands are shoulder distance apart, then the head should be way up here, not here, to create the tripod effect. So if you're going to begin this direction instead of the crow and falling towards the head, you can set up this way. Make sure you can see all the fingertips. You still squeeze the arms in. The toes will tuck. The feet will crawl in. Take your time so that the knees stack. And maybe this is all you can manage today. If you're wobbly, I would not suggest lifting a leg. But if you feel pretty strong, you can extend one leg and then the other. Obviously, you can hold it, but if you feel the need to come out, come on down. The counter, a guinea headstand, would be child's pose. Maybe rolling down to child's, arms wrapped around you, palms open. Staying mindful of your breath. Inhale, come up. Exhale, descend to the back. I want us to get a supine twist in, so tuck your knees in. Take the arms to the sides, let your knees roll away to the left. Your head can stay centered, or you may turn it to the right. Inhale, head to center, knees to center, and then let them roll off to the right. Your head can rotate to the left. Inhale, head and knees to center. Close the arms around the legs again. Let's continue to clear any fog or debris from the mind. So let's lay it out in the active form. Well, I say active form, but you know what I mean. The regular corpse pose. It's not really active. Arms beside you, palms open, eyes closed. Take a few deep breaths. And then your control of the breath can subside. Gaze into the mind's eye. from hearing the sound of the mindfulness bell ring, start to deepen the flow of your breath. Begin to awaken some movement in your hands and feet. Curling in and rising up eventually to join me in a more formal seat. Resting palms open, eyes closed. Hopefully you've cleared some clouds from your mind. More in touch with yourself, more present in this moment. And joining your palms together. May we all benefit from this practice, bringing up our hearts, our minds, our bodies. May we remind ourselves to calm the inner storms, to clear our minds, so that we may be more grounded within our own higher self. The light within me honors and bows to that which is within you.